Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, tomorrow is going to be a very big day. We are going to hear from Fed Chair Jerome Powell as he's set to deliver a big speech from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And that could move markets. Everybody's waiting to see what will the Fed say because, there was talks of potentially a rate cut coming in September, but inflation has been on the rise. So will Powell signal that a cut's coming or maybe a cut later this year? After that, I don't know. But tomorrow's a very big day that could really move the markets. I do believe the bull market's still intact. But for the short term, this could really impact the markets, sending us lower to go test some lows before we bounce, or maybe we see a very strong bounce based on the news that comes out tomorrow. So let's watch it closely. I will, of course, bring you the details in the news recap later in the day, but big day to pay attention, folks, to see what the Fed decides to do. And, it's anyone's guess at this point because there's a lot of politics behind this, Trump and Powell going back and forth, and not so much Powell, but Trump. And, it's getting a little bit messy. So hopefully he signals, even if they're not cutting in September, that a rate cut maybe comes in October, November. I don't know. Again, right? This is just a very unusual time because you have the whole tariff situation plus, other economic aspects. And Powell certainly cares about his legacy and what legacy he leaves because that's what history is going to remember, not, the back and forth spats in a random month or months in the year 2025, but rather what happened from the macro with the economy and much more. So it's a weird time, but nevertheless, all the bull market signals and metrics and all these things are still in play. And right now, Bitcoin's still in no man's land. However, Bitcoin dominance, it's still showing a lot of weakness here. And I love the chart that Crypto Wizard shared around Bitcoin dominance, saying collapse in progress. Bitcoin dominance broke its 3-year uptrend with a bearish engulfing from the top of the symmetrical triangle. Now, this is the 1-month chart he's showing here. You can see very bearish, right? You see that downtrend that's starting there. He says the collapse is in progress. Patience pays, and so will altcoins. So again, everything's still intact, and Bitcoin dominance is one of the key factors here. Even the stock market is down. The S&P 500 is down. The NASDAQ, everything. So the markets will certainly be waiting in anticipation to see what happens tomorrow. All right, moving ahead, wealthy Asian investors target 5% of portfolios in crypto as adoption broadens. Yesterday I shared the news about China's move to build a digital yuan or a yuan stablecoin. And we talked about game theory and how no one wants to be left behind and everyone's trying to build their technologies and adopt it and trying to compete, of course. And it comes as no surprise that this is happening because crypto is a global asset class. It has been the best performing asset class. It has outpaced real estate. It has outpaced the stock markets and much more. So let me give you the details here. Wealthy families and family offices across Asia are increasing their cryptocurrency allocations, with some planning to allocate around 5% of their portfolios to the asset class. Reuters first reported the trend, which noted a wave of demand from high net worth individuals across Singapore, Hong Kong, and mainland China. So the key items there are Hong Kong and mainland China, right? So I've been on record. I wrote an article. I spoke about it in yesterday's podcast. I believe China will open up ETF trading, where the capital, it doesn't have a flight risk. It has to stay in the ETF wrapper in the country because China is worried about that. They've dealt with this issue for a long time where folks have been moving the money out of the country. So of course they've tried to stop that. And that's part of why they've had the crypto ban. But if you put it in the ETF wrapper, it just sits there, right? And the institutions hold it. So I think that's the direction China's going to go in. And they've been using Hong Kong, which they control, as a testing ground. So it's very interesting to see this news come out at this time. So wealthy managers told Reuters they are receiving more inquiries from clients, while cryptocurrency exchanges have reported rising trading volumes and new crypto funds are drawing strong demand. Jason Huang, founder of Next Gen Digital Ventures, said his company raised over $100 million in just a few months for a new long-short crypto equity fund launched in Singapore in May. His previous fund, which wound down last year, returned 375% in less than 2 years. Wow. That's a pretty great return, right? That certainly beats a lot of the other traditional finance portfolios out there. So, folks, there's demand for this asset class. And if you're here and you bought in the bear market lows, you are on the side of smart money. You are an early adopter. And this is why you have potential to make incredible returns. Now, speaking of Hong Kong construction company enters a $483 million agreement to buy 4,250 Bitcoin. Shares briefly jumped 30%. So the crypto asset treasury strategy trend continues to grow, and it's happening globally, folks. So this is very bullish. These companies, publicly traded, are buying crypto assets. That's very good if you hold those assets, of course. So Hong Kong-based Ming Shing said it's entering an agreement with Winning Mission Group to purchase 4,250 Bitcoin at an average price of $113,638. Look at the price they're buying at. So as you can see, they're anticipating higher prices, because why would you go buy the top, right? You would rather wait for the bear market, but they're clearly anticipating Bitcoin's going to go higher, and higher than the all-time highs it just made of $124,000. So Ming Shing's shares on the NASDAQ briefly jumped 29% on Wednesday and closed the day 11.5% higher. And that's the big arbitrage that's taking place, right? Because your stock and the value of your company can go up significantly by putting these assets on your balance sheet. So very, very bullish news. Folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer 1 enterprise blockchains out there. I'm a VET token holder. I have been since 2018. I'm bullish on this project. VeChain is partnered with many of the top companies and brands out there building Web3 technologies on the VeChain blockchain. And some of the key features of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the brands working with VeChain include PwC, Walmart China, BMW, Boston Consulting Group, and many more. They recently partnered with Dana White in the UFC, and Dana White mentioned he bought millions of dollars of the VET token. So folks, this is a project I am bullish on. They recently added staking as well. So a lot of great features, a lot of great things happening here. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. The link will be in the description. Okay, we got a lot of altcoin news to cover here. First, Chainlink. They announced today that they are now the industry's first data and interoperability Oracle platform to achieve ISO 27001 and SOC 2 compliance. So this is really great. I am bullish on Chainlink. I hold it in my portfolio. I think it's going to do well. And many other companies and blockchains use Chainlink's oracles and price feeds. So they are certainly one of the best projects out there. And I'm not saying it just because I hold a token, but if you do your research, you will see the same thing. So I'm diversified. I hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, XRP, AVAX, and much more. So this is really great news. Look at this, Gemini Crypto Exchange. They are launching an XRP credit card. So it's going to be a MasterCard powered XRP card. They teased it with some ads they put out in New York City. And obviously they tweeted out the photos of those ads on X. So this is really great. You're seeing a lot of adoption and innovation opening up for XRP since the SEC Ripple lawsuit has completed. And on that note, Gemini received a MiCA license in Malta, and this is really great. So they continue to expand and getting their licenses globally, and they're not the only ones. You have other exchanges that are doing the same. So the race is on to get as much market share as possible, folks, because this asset class is only going to continue to grow, and you're going to see mass adoption across the world. And jumping back to XRP, the CME group gave an update on XRP futures saying it has hit an all-time high in open interest with 6,000 plus contracts on August 18th, right as their anniversary approaches. So you're seeing institutional investors looking to trade XRP, and I've been saying wait till the spot ETF is approved. So I think this is an indication of what's to come for the spot ETF. XRP is being one of the leading altcoins in this bull market, and that's a very positive sign. I am an XRP holder, and with the SEC case wrapped up, as mentioned earlier, that's a very bullish narrative. And I think the SEC is going to approve an XRP spot ETF along with Solana and others. So that's coming up in October, of course, and it's going to be pretty exciting, folks. So this is great news. Now, we got a big update here from Hugo Filion of Flare. Many of you know Flare is working on building DeFi capabilities for XRP, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin. Well, Hugo, the founder of Flare, said XLM, Stellar, is on the roadmap too. So that's really great. So they're adding DeFi capabilities for tokens which, they don't have smart contracts natively built in and don't have many options like Ethereum or Solana. But with Flare, you create these F assets like FXRP, FBTC, FXLM, and you can participate in different types of lending and borrowing and much more. So this is really great. Now, moving ahead, we got a big update from Caroline Pham, who's currently the acting chair at the CFTC. She was one of the commissioners, of course. She tweeted out today, together, the SEC's Project Crypto and the CFTC's Crypto Sprint are coordinating to answer President Donald Trump's call to action for American leadership. We are going to win on crypto. So the two agencies are collaborating here, and they've got some major initiatives. And I hope to have Caroline Pham on the podcast soon to talk about all these things. I'm in contact with her people. But guys, you see what's happening here, right? Eleanor Terry gave some additional updates. She says, Pham says the push alongside the SEC's Project Crypto answers Trump's call for U.S. leadership on spot plus retail trading. Stakeholder engagement starts today. Public comments due October 20th. So great to see these agencies working to get legislation and clarity for the crypto market. And all this will lead to more capital coming into the asset class. Now, the DOJ says it will not target developers that create decentralized crypto platforms without criminal intent. They shouldn't have been doing this in the first place, but we know under Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler and these clowns, they were forced to because Biden was in power. Biden gave Elizabeth Warren the financial oversight powers, right? So she was running amok and doing all this nonsense. So great to see these things being reversed. Like, why are you targeting good actors? Go after the bad actors, right? But they were trying to kill crypto so that their banking cartel buddies, the TradFi folks, can come in and take over. But we won. Unfortunately for them, right? We've talked a lot about this ad nauseum over the years, guys, but the whole thing was to slow these crypto startups down, kill them if possible, so that the big banks can come in and take over. So great to see all of these things are opening up. And here's another example. The US OCC drops consent order against Anchorage Digital amid regulatory shift. So Anchorage is a crypto custodian. They also have a banking charter license, and the OCC was trying to go after them for whole bunch of stuff, and that has now been dropped because they didn't do anything wrong. Again, if you're a bad actor, you do something wrong, yes, these agencies need to do their job and hold you accountable. But we know it wasn't about if you were doing something wrong or right. It was just kill these companies. If they are a crypto native startup, kill them so that BlackRock, JPMorgan, all these guys can come in and take over. That was the whole game. Final news item here. State Street becomes the first custodian on JPMorgan's tokenized debt platform. So big players here collaborating, and you can see the clear capitulation, right? They are building with blockchain tech, offering crypto trading, tokenization, and much more. They have to, because disruption's at their doorstep. So State Street, an asset manager and custodian bank serving institutional clients, has joined financial services company JPMorgan's tokenized debt platform as its first third-party custodian, allowing it to hold blockchain-based debt securities on behalf of investors. Many of you may recall just recently JPMorgan did a tokenized test on Coinbase's Base, which is the layer 2 on Ethereum. So JP Morgan forced to move to public blockchain. So JP Morgan's digital debt service platform allows institutional clients to trade and settle tokenized debt instruments, which are securities issued on a blockchain that represent government or corporate bonds. The asset manager purchased $100 million in tokenized commercial debt from the overseas Chinese banking corporation, one of the oldest banks in Southeast Asia, in the platform's inaugural transaction, according to Thursday's announcement. Folks, you see what's happening here? They are forced to use blockchain technology. Can't use Swift, can't use your bullshit database anymore. You got to use the public blockchain. No one wants to use your personally built blockchain, right? Quorum that JP Morgan tried to do to bypass all this. Why the hell would I trust your centralized blockchain? You got to go to a public blockchain and you got to collaborate with all the rest of Wall Street. This is what we've been talking about for years. The economies, the markets, the governments will run on blockchain rails. We are headed to the token economy. So the asset manager extending custody services to tokenize real-world assets showcases the growth of the emerging sector and signals a milestone as more established financial institutions interact with the digital economy. Folks, if you're feeling bearish about the price action, zoom out and look at what's being built and look at who is bending the knee and capitulating and entering the industry here. This is amazing. So make sure you are exercising patience. And once again, you're looking at the macro. If you're caught up in the hourly, daily, and weekly, the markets will rip you to shreds. So make sure you balance the price action with what's being built and where we're at in the timeline, right? You got to look at this from a holistic standpoint. Can't just have tunnel vision with the price. Price is important. Guys, if I could press a button right now and send the prices to new all-time highs, I would, because I'm here to make money. I've said that from day one. I'm using this new technology and asset class as a way to get myself financial freedom. But I understand there's a process to that. I understand there's adoption and clarity that's needed. And you got to be patient as the S-curve adoption plays out, right? Go study S-curve adoption for the internet and other things like mobile phones and so forth. And it does take time. There's further iterations on blockchains and technologies that will all drive more adoption, more capital coming in, more building, and much more. So make sure, when in doubt, zoom out. All right, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. And a great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out the link in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. Again, go to mycryptocourse.com, expand your knowledge about this technology and asset class, and all the links will be in the description. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.